How's it going? I decided to go live. I did deliver earlier today, slowly. I did a handful. And then I went home and I did some work, and I feel achieving something you want to accomplish is just gratifying and satisfying. And if anyone tells you that you shouldn't earn a living doing what you love and don't support you, they're wrong. Do what you love, because it will lead you where you should be. Hello there. I gotta put my glasses on. I am sorry I don't have my earbuds in. Hello, Just Mio. How are you? I know I haven't updated that page, but I will. There's so many changes. I was browsing through Coinbase Pro today, and I can create an account, but I gotta figure out, is there a fee to use that? Because then I'm gonna see if I can transfer my crypto from my regular Coinbase account and send it to another wallet to myself and my Coinbase Pro account. I would think so. I'm trying to understand it the best I can. Hello, Rideshare Lisa. Check out Rideshare Lisa. She's a gig worker in the gig economy. That's for sure. So after I did that, I had a day just very focused, and about 7:30, I went out again. And it was a very slow day. And it's because it is September 11th. It was very quiet, somber. I think that's the word. It was just. But I'm happy I did something. And I haven't gone out at night, and I'm going home after this. I'm not turning the apps back on. I don't miss working nights. It's just, I had a spurt of energy, and I said, get away from the computer. Go earn a few dollars. And I got a few. I did 5. Hello, Alabama. What's going on? So I am going to give some shout outs. I am going to tell you that story I told you yesterday about calling out an Uber Eats customer. She gave me a $7 tip. And I'm really happy she did that, because I didn't think I was going to get a tip at all, because the payouts weren't great, and it made it so much more worth it. You know, I know it's mean to say, but when you're nice and respectful and you show that you could follow guidelines and do what you're told, and you're humble, people tend to think that they can talk down to you and disrespect you, and that's far from the truth. And it's an insult, you know? I mean, I don't usually talk to people like that, and I was very kind, considering what she was saying to me and her attitude. And I was like, what? You got it all wrong. So she gave me a $7 tip. I thought the gig workers would find that very interesting. You know, I went to go sign in, and they let me create an account. You could create different accounts. I have to learn, because now I'm using it so regularly. I'm just going to continue learning. I have no regrets, but I think I spent too much money on fees. But I also feel they're in business. And if it wasn't for Coinbase, I am tired. I have Coinbase and I have Gemini. And on Gemini, I live in New York State, everyone. On Gemini, you can buy a handful of crypto, but their main headquarters is in New York City. I keep following these YouTube channels and educating myself. And every time I attempt to join another crypto exchange, they tell me New York's not allowed. And I'm getting sick of it. You know, I don't feel New York is worth anything to fight for to stay here. I'm tired of being told you should have less and you stay here and give us more. I just don't feel, I just don't see the appeal of staying here as my main residence. You know, I could easily go to Jersey and live near the South Shore, and I would feel like I'm on Long Island. And I thought that was, I've said that before, but I see it becoming I see it becoming more of a reality now, because I'm tired of being told no because I'm in New York. You're in New York, you get less. I'm the one with a vision and no fear and pushing forward and taking a chance and putting it all on the line, and you're telling me I deserve less. And after New Year's, watching the mayor dance on stage with his wife when the New York City was closed down to, you know, the regular people, I mean, it's disgusting. It gets more disturbing. And I'm tired of being surrounded by fear. And I'm not fearful. I'm going for it. And I'm going to give shout outs to show how much I'm going for it. I got this new phone because I couldn't download any apps. I didn't have enough room. Will you still never near your mom, though? Well, you know what? My mother's going to have to lighten up and not live in fear. She could come with me. It's only Jersey. You know? Close enough. But why should I continue to live with less than and be told no when I'm a visionary and I have foresight to what's coming, and I should have less because someone else is fearful? I happen to disagree with that. She could come with me. Hey, my mother should lighten up and come with me. We could also, because we're going to be so wealthy, we can make New Jersey our main residence and keep the house in Freeport. You know, she has a legal apartment that she rents, and with cameras and technology and him living here, he don't want to move. You know, he has it too good at my mother's house. You know, and that's good, and he's a nice man. And we could come back and forth, but, you know, she would have to leave a job to do that. I feel she should, or she could come and stay in Jersey Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go home Monday every week. My mother's very strong and healthy that she could easily drive by herself for another decade. And she's smart, you know? But to continue to be told you're going to have less, it's a bunch of BS to me. I'm sick of it. You know, I'm not living in fear. I'm tired of the BS, you know? I'm tired of being told. GovDPukio. I think it's a great idea, and I have family in Jersey. I could live near the shore like I am here. Like, you know, it's a 10-minute or less drive with no traffic, and I have a view of many destinations that I could park my car and enjoy the beautiful water. I just like being near the water. I don't have to be right on top of it, but if I'm at least a 10-minute drive from it, that's good enough for me, because I really do enjoy the shore. It makes life worth living, in my opinion. You know, the water. That's just the way I think. So there's going to be things happening. I could have that place there and come here and stay and back and forth and get rid of my place. I don't feel New York's worth the money anymore. Why? You keep telling me no. Anyway, DML. Now, I've been watching him, and I learned about him from Facebook. And every time I went to go watch him last night, I finally got angry with Facebook. They wouldn't let me watch the video, and I was getting pissed off. I like that man. That man lived out east. I call it out east in Suffolk County in Long Island. And he moved to Florida. He uprooted. He took his wife and his kids, and he said, we're going to Florida. And it's not just about the vaccine, because I think the vaccine's a bunch of bullshit now, and not just from him, from other news channels, other channels. You have open borders, and you're letting unvaccinated people come in with no documentation, and they're doing it, they're doing it illegally. And meanwhile, it's an insult to people who did it legally, which I support wholeheartedly. I mean, over the years, I've worked with people who came here legally. They did their turn. They did their time. They deserve the freedom lifestyle and to have more in life. But then you're letting these people just come in, and meanwhile my taxes are paying for that, and I'm struggling to, and you're telling me I should have less. And now you're telling the United States citizens, Biden's, he spoke yesterday. I'm at a loss for words there. And he's mandating that companies that have 100 or more employees have to enforce that they have the vaccine. And that's bullshit, because a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And then there's going to be, they're going to be companies they're not going to be able to find good health. And that's what's going to come down to, because not everybody's going to fall for the shit. And I'm just tired of it. It's disturbing. I'm so happy I didn't fall for it. It's just wrong. So they could just run around and do whatever, get great health care. My taxes are paying for it, but I can't get health care unless I pay my own way. And then you're telling a United States citizen who is a law-abiding citizen and gives back to the community that you have to do this, you have to do that. F you. I ain't falling for it. I ain't staying for it either. I have options. I have choices, and I can do it. I work for the post office. Oh, I got another story to tell you. A really good story, too, about a postal worker today. And trust me, it sucks. I may move on to future dreams. Silos. Oh, well, good for you. The particular show I listened to today, I finally put his podcast on my phone. And it's DML, Dennis Michael Lynch. And he interviewed a Walt Disney employee that followed in his father's footsteps. He's a server in Walt Disney in Florida. And it's coming down to DeSantis he will fight, and other people, he named off other people in Florida, will fight to prevent that mandate from happening. Because it's going to, of course, it's going to hurt a lot of people that choose not to live in fear and will not be forced to do something they don't want to do. In the United States of America, if you're a law-abiding citizen, you pay your taxes, you pay your way. And he interviewed him. And the man said, my father was a waiter. He worked for Disney since the 1970s. And he followed in his footsteps. And he said, and he made it clear several times, I love my job. And, Dennis was listening to him, and he let him speak on how he felt what was going on and how saddened he is. He's sad that he's gonna have to make that choice. And he feels that the park eventually won't be able to open in the future because they're not going to have enough help. And people are going to lose their jobs over this. And then they also discuss like the history of Disney and what it stands for about, being trained about everything being happy and families going there to create happy memories, and they're forced to wear masks, and in their pictures, they really got into detail. But the man also spoke. He was a very educated man, and the man who was speaking, he's a union leader in Disney. And he said, I'm going to have to walk away. And and the point of the interview was, the man got to the point. He goes, there are people that work for Disney. He's a, I forgot what the leaders are on unions. But people look up to him. He's built a very good name for himself, and he helps the employees. They're realizing that the people who thought they were alone and were afraid to speak out and say, I don't want that, now understand that they're not alone. And they also spoke about Facebook, how people are taking screenshots because when they go and view the information, it's taken down like that. And the guy's obviously an educated person, but he's a server, but he's also one of the union leaders protecting the employees. So it was a very interesting podcast. And it's free, guys. Dennis Michael Lynch. He has a free, he's a news guy that walked away from a great job years ago. And he said, I will not be conformed to say things I don't believe in. And he created a name and a business of his own. And he got me as a viewer. I rather listen to him than, I don't even watch TV anymore. I could barely listen to it. You know, and he said, instead of, he ran out of the first building. He was one of the people that ran out of the first building, one of the towers that fell in New York City. So, you know, he also shop steward. I think that's it. Did you get the vaccine? No, I'm talking about that. No vaccine for me. And you know what? Thank God I went down the path that I did, because everything I do, if they want me to wear a mask if I shop, because I'm going to be a shopper on top of my web business, on top of gigging, and there's so many opportunities. I am working on it. Okay, I don't mind that. I don't mind somebody looks at me and go, you didn't get vaccinated? No. What are you worried about? You got vaccinated and I'm wearing my mask. What's the problem here? Stay away. Stay 6 feet away, because that's the best way facial recognition works. You know? Oh yeah, you watched the replay. That's good. Is poison. You know, I'm not against, I don't want you thinking I'm against vaccines, because I'm not. I'm against this one right now. And I'm not falling for it. And the more I hear about the open borders and what's going on, I'm happy I didn't fall for it. I will speak out like Dennis Michael Lynch, like Robert Kiyosaki, like Gerald Celente, like Lynette Zhang. I'm with them all the way. And if that bothers you and I lose a subscriber, that's okay. If that bothers you and you don't want to be a part of my life anymore, that's okay. I don't have a problem being alone. I'm grateful that I know how to work alone now, and I started something from nothing, because I'd be miserable and I'd be screwed and I'd be scared. I'd be fearful if I was forced to make these kind of decisions right now and I needed to live paycheck to paycheck. I'd be freaking out. I had to leave my car. Now I'm back. Just me, yo. Yeah, I'm not going to do any more deliveries, but I will be going out tomorrow. My goal this week is supposed to be a beautiful week. Is just work a few hours in the afternoon, and maybe Monday or Tuesday go out for a couple of hours in the evening. That's it. You know, I'm not doing it the way I was, because I am seriously working online and it's leading me to someplace else. I'm giving those shout outs, guys. I know this is a little bit political, but I also shared that story about the Uber Eats customer I called out. She gave me $7. I thought that was really great. Really great. And I happen to believe in my natural immunity. And that's another thing that guy talked about, the shop steward. He gave a little bit of his point of view, but he also, you could tell he's very educated in that industry with Walt Disney. He knew the history and everything because he was raised in that industry. And he's sad because he don't want to leave his job. He goes, but if I have to, I will. And now people are reaching out to him that were fearful. They were fearful, and they're so happy they're not alone. You know, see, I know people in Jersey, and as long as you have freedom and choice in Jersey, I'll make that my regular residence. I don't have a problem with that. I wouldn't feel like I really lost anything. I happen to like the shore. I would feel right at home. I wouldn't sweat it. And they also spoke, the shop steward also spoke about the vaccine passports. He goes, well, how do you think it happened, you know, with the Jewish history on what happened with, I'm at a loss for words now, guys. But that's how it starts. Once we go vaccine passport, it's never going to go back. And we need more people like Dennis Michael Lynch, Lynette Zhang, Gerald Celente, Robert Kiyosaki, and people like me, little people, help spread out the word and get these channels out there. Follow their podcasts, follow their YouTube channels, follow them on any social media that you can, because this is bullshit. And this is the way it's going to be until the next presidency. And I think, I really do believe in my heart, this will go away if we fight it long enough. But what's going on now? I would be a proud, I guess, Floridan, Florida citizen. I would help those people fight the mandate. I think it's a bunch of BS. There's so many industries. You don't need to. It's just mean. They're going to lose a lot of people. He also spoke about what happened in Texas. I mean, 150 nurses just walked out of some hospital like, oh, I received a $3.64 tip. That's good. He goes, they're not going to have enough people to run the hospitals because not all medical professionals believe in the vaccine. And I happen to agree with that because I've experienced it face to face with doctors that are taking care of me right now. Not that there's anything wrong. I'm just having some checkups that I never had for the second half of my life. And I'm so grateful that I'm surrounded by people like that. I would prefer, I want that option. That's another reason why I want to be independently wealthy. I want the choice to go to doctors that I choose to go to, because not all of them. Yes, Florida, Texas, and Idaho. Holocaust. That's when they put them all in the gas chambers and they just killed them. Like, that's the beginning. Well, there's, I think it's Australia or New Zealand, that there's a lot going on there. They gave up their freedoms of their guns. I mean, I'm not a gun holder, but it's been on my mind for the past year. And I'm not someone who talks out of my ass. I will take action if I get to that point and follow through. People, I don't care about the price. I don't care about the several steps in order to have a license to hold a pistol. But I need to get to that point. They're screwed. Because they gave up all their freedoms, and that's what's going down there. I think it's New Zealand, I believe. Very, very sad, and it's a bunch of BS. Why do you want to? It's more like the shop steward said. This isn't just about health, and he goes. And now I don't believe it's about health. This is deep. This is dark, and these are people who just. They want to kill off the population for their own satisfaction. They're mentally deranged is what they are. Who the hell wants to do that? Don't you want law-abiding citizens working hard, being happy, paying their way, or you want to destroy their lives? Give me a friggin' break. It's about compliance and control. Yup. Compliance and control. And it's sad because it don't have to be that way. But there are sick people out there. I've been following for a while, My Power, I think that's what it's called. They've been sending emails lately and I've been opening them up. I'll get more into that another time. But it's just a bit overkill. I don't mind. I don't care if you need to know where I am for safety and whatnot. But when you start telling me that, you're going to prepare me to kill me, go fuck off. Come on. And if this gets demonetized, oh well, it's not all about monetization. That's what I have that other channel for. So I feel bad for what's going on. Oh, and the postal service worker today. It was earlier in the day. It was one of my first deliveries. I was in Merrick. On Merrick Road, picking up at Bagel Chalet, and there's a post office across the street. And there's cars driving everywhere going 30 miles an hour. It's Merrick Road, 30 to 40 miles an hour. He crosses the road and he starts going, Jesus Christ, why can't you slow down? I'm crossing the road. And I happened to be parked on Merrick Road instead of the parking lot. There was a spot right there. And I was walking to my car with, I picked up a delivery. And he was saying it out loud, talking to me. And I said, well, you were jaywalking. And he said, what's that? I said, crossing a street without a crosswalk. I'm a postal service worker. They should stop for me. I don't think he was working. Yeah, he was off now. But you just walked in the middle of traffic And people are going 30, 40 miles an hour, and you're making them concentrate harder driving when there's a green light. Meanwhile, the light's down there. It was just, I was like, what? I was like, whatever, sir. He goes, but I'm a postal worker. What does that mean? You could do whatever the hell you want? But if I did that, that's wrong. I just don't get it. It's like people who make illegal left-hand turns over double lines in the middle of rush hour. Why aren't they given tickets? It causes a backup. It makes people drive a little more unsafe. What's wrong with you? Go to the light and turn around. You can't be that self-righteous to think everyone should stop for me. I don't care if I'm here for 3 or 4 minutes. I got to get to Mickey D's. I see it all the time. Feel they're special and federal. Well, I didn't like the postal person I had before this one, but I have a really great postal person now, and I wrote him a letter, and I gave him $20 at Christmas, and it's something I haven't done in years because I couldn't stand the woman that delivered to our building. She always put signs up asking for tips and stuff, and I don't dig that. You're not working for tips, you work for salary. And you probably get overtime. Whatever the deal is with a federal job, you get all your perks. I was a server. I was in the industry of working for tips, and we got very little minimum wage. I remember my minimum wage when I started was $3, when we worked for tips. This guy gave him $20. I wrote him a letter. He was so appreciative. And it's his first year here. Now I'm going to have a little more money this year. I'm going to give him $50. And I told him, thank you for your service. I really do appreciate what you do. And I'm glad you're my mailman, or something like that I wrote. His name is Hercules. Love him. Talk about an ace kind of guy. That's the kind of guy you want to give money to. Don't expect anything. Just wants to be treated right and do his job. He's so aces. When I see him, it makes me happy when I see him. See, that's the way the world should be, no matter what industry. People should like their jobs, be happy to earn their paycheck, and not be controlled like robots, like they're humans. What's wrong with you? Thank you. THQ, thank you. It's about compliance and control. So thank you for the information. Yes, Florida, Texas, Idaho, the Holocaust. I know I'm not great with history, but I just recently read this story about the Holocaust, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was in charge of all the orphans and all the children during that time. And I guess it was the Germans told him, you don't have to go in there, but we want the children to go in there. And he wouldn't turn his back on the children, and he went into the gas chamber with them so they would feel safe when they died. That's a hero. Don't you think? I can't remember the name, but it was just so sad. But what a hero to do something like that. He was told, you don't have to go in there. I was reading some stories, and it was because somebody was taking pictures on all the Holocaust of tombstones and stuff, and people felt it was disgraceful that the teenagers were doing that. And it just led me to that article, and it's a story that will stick with me for the rest of my life. To be honest, it's so cool. Well, but I don't like the one before him. She was rude, nasty. She always expected stuff. It's like, what's wrong with you? I didn't dig it too much. The one before her, I did. I tipped him. I can't remember his name, but I would tip him. So that's that. Thanks for joining in. I'm going to head home and take a shower and then do a couple of things and get to where my bed is. That should be like 1 o'clock. I appreciate it. I wanted to give those shout outs. Download the podcast. It's a podcast, right? Podcast on the apps. Drive, not drove. Okay, thank you. Drive, not drove. The podcast, Dennis Michael Lynch. I'll watch the video and I'll listen to why you told me that. I know it's toward the end. That's good. Lynette Zhang, Gerald Salenti, Robert Kiyosaki and his wife. I really like his wife. And whoever else I follow. I'll get the names down. I'm a part of that community and I'm fine with that. And if you don't like me because of that, I'm tired of worrying about what other people think because I just keep getting less and less. I don't care. Be safe. Good night. I'll watch it. Drive, not drove. That's okay. I'll learn. And I guess I'll see you during the week. I am going to work tomorrow. I really don't see going live or doing a video tomorrow. I'm just going to work and do some studying and have dinner with my mom. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Just hang low the second half of the day. But I'll be out in the morning. Got a gig. Got to earn a few bucks. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the thumbs up. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one, folks. Bye, guys.